So I want you to put your hands together. Matter of fact, I want you to stand up because this brother works hard. I want you to give him a round of applause as he comes to you this morning and roars like the Lion of Judah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. You know, first of all, I want to thank Reverend Gerald for that introduction. And thank you for seeing me in that light. Because it is when we see or we recognize ourselves or others, it is when they can become. Because we are seeing them, identifying them as such. Therefore, they are feeling that sensation that comes on them. And therefore, they stand in the power and presence in who they are. So I want to give thanks to everyone who is here and those who are on Zoom. And it is my pleasure to bring this topic. This is a topic that has been on my mind for years. And I am going to listen to how it's going to drop down. Because there's many meanings in this text. And this text is supposed to inspire us to let go of whatever hindrances that we may have. So the praising is to bring us back from where we went out. See, because the people of Judah, they were separated. And in this separation, you know, it's like we go all in different directions. And these directions sometimes take us off course. So that's what they talk about in the teachings of the Eastern texts and things like this, you know, is that, you know, Hiram Abiff, he went away, but yet it was just a shallow grave. So what it's saying is, because we may not be yet where we quite want to be, we can be awakened to that place once we recognize that we are the thing that we're seeking. That God is present in our very being. And because of him moving in us, it activates us. See, this spinal cord that we have, the nerves running through our body is sensationalized when we listen to this power. This power, it will move us into places and things and accept this power once we say yes. See, it is a knowing that we must have within our heart, soul, and mind. Because this is where the freedom is. The freedom is understanding that I am the power, that I have the courage, and that I can stand on this knowledge and wisdom that is trying to set me free. It is only in the ignorance of what it is that we experience that we think we don't have power. So we say, nah, it ain't, I can't do it. No, yes, you can. If we hear it, it's for you. If you hear it, it's for you. Now, once you hear it, all you have to do is step into it. See, because that is the correlation. And that's why Reverend Gerald said mental equivalence. We got to have a mental equivalent to the thing that we say we want. In mind, that's why in meditation it tells you to look through your third eye, which is the forehead. And so as we sit in meditation, we're supposed to look through our forehead so that we can see that magnification of the power that's being shown to us. So if you want a healing, you have to envision healing. That this healing will show up as we see it. But we have to see it here in mind. The presence can only come once we accept it. See, we have to use our understanding and our perceptions of life in order to create a mental equivalent of our beliefs. And once we do that, it will activate the unseen power to reveal through us exactly who we are. See, this is why that old saying is, when we first come to this teaching, it says, your knowing is showing. But what it's saying is that I see you through by your actions. And what it is that we're doing, that's revealing who we are. So if we look like we have not yet achieved, it's because we're acting it out, because that is the belief that we're holding in mind. That's why they tell you, be confident, stand erect, put your back up, be strong, put your shoulders up, right? Act like you can do it. Because once you do that, then you're going to start moving. So as our belief and acceptance grow, we get to discover our relationship to God. See, this is how we have to do it, irregardless of who say, why you acting like that? You're a little different. No, it's just that I'm trying to stay on course. See, I can laugh and be over here, but I also have to keep myself in check because I can denigrate myself down to a level where I have to reboot myself to get even stronger. See, because once you fall down, it is only you're going to have to push up a little bit more. That's why when we was kids, they used to tell us to exercise. Because if you exercise, you're going to get a little stronger. You're going to get a little strength. Right? And you're going to be able to push off. And some of us utilize that, and we learn that, oh, I can run a little bit. Oh, I can climb that monkey bar. See, this is all about building ourselves up. Build ourselves. See, and so when they're talking about the Lion of Judah, they're saying one is going to come, and he's going to have the master grip. See, all of it is talking about how Jesus is going to come. There's a Messiah that's coming, and it's always trying to roar, speak up with confidence, with knowledge, and knowing to bring us together so that we can stand on the principles of life, which is I am who I am. Why? Because I believe and I speak this truth so that I can stand, so that I can change this world. The world changes as we change the world. It ain't going to change by outside forces. We are the force. We're supposed to learn this ignorance. We're supposed to shift it. If you don't like what you see, then you go to work on yourself. How am I involved in this? Where do I need to grow to change myself, to activate the power in me that will deliver me and my people? Because everybody's watching. You may not be known worldwide. Your name may not be called on the news, but in your very household, they know you, and they're watching. And those may be the ones that you inspire, and perhaps one of them could stand and lift up and change something that we couldn't do. And that is all the hope and the glory of it is. They're speaking in idioms, which is to have an idea that outweighs the current condition. See, it is only this current condition that's not allowing us to be who we are. Some of us are hurting, but we don't tell the hurt to step away. We invite it in. Come on. Weary is me. Yeah, of course. But you don't have to stay there. All of us, every last one, you don't have to know what it is, are wounded. Every last one, it don't miss anyone. But for those of us who say we believe, we look outside of our hurts. We look past and we say, thank you. I praise you for lifting me, for guiding me, for bringing this to my attention. Because as I know, I'm going to change. And that's all that pride is. Every time you have that thought that tell you that you shouldn't be over there, it's just pushing you back. That's all. And you go, come, get back over here. That's all it's doing. Why? Like I said earlier, it is the nerves. It is the central system throughout our whole body. Yeah, you get a little nervous. That's the nerves. It's telling you, you excited. That means this is good. If it off in your, that means you doing right. You hair on your neck stand up. Danger. You got to know. That's why you got to know who you are. Know your power. Once we accept that God and I are one, then we can live from our knowingness. And then, if we repeat the actions intentionally, we will receive the results and the desires every time. It's just repeating the action. It's no different than learning a mathematical problem. Have to learn the process to become. See, the Lion of Judah is from the birth of Jacob and Leah. And it's saying she praised because she was happy for the fourth son that came. She was happy, she was glad, so she was praising God that he gave me one more son. See, because back in this time, you can only pass your kids through your son. You couldn't pass your inheritance to your daughters. Unfortunately, right? But this is life. But what? Somebody came awakened to that, and it's changed in our society, in our culture. So you change it. And this praising and confessing of this love is going to ignite something in us. And this is going to return us to heaven. But we have to rebuke our troubles and destructive ways. So in Genesis 49, 1 through 8, it says, Jacob brings all his sons together, and he advises them of the destruction and mayhem that would come if they coveted their reckless life. See, these are the characteristics is what has kept us from our victories for over 35,000 years. Because of the ignorance, we're not using the awareness, we're just going along, right? We don't want to be the outsider. Like, I'm going to jump off the river because Tommy jumped off. Remember that old saying our parents used to say? So, what Jacob was doing was saying that we can avoid this. And if we can avoid it through our knowledge and understanding, he said we can receive the promises of our fathers, of our ancestors. So it says, Judah, thou art he whom my brethren shall praise. So you got to be excited about it. See, and this praise is going to lift us up to give us the power to overcome our enemies, our iniquities. Thy father's children's house shall bow down before thee. So when our faith and belief come together, our disciplines will be obedient to the task. See, we got to get it together. We got to understand who we are to fight back. So then it goes on and says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou, which means that he was humble. And he was listening, just like they say Jesus was humble, right? You got to break yourself down so that the Spirit can work through you and in you. You break yourself down if you can't stand up. If it takes you astray, you got to sit alone and you got to ask for the strength and the power to understand what my intentions are trying to get me to be. Got to sit with it night and day and know. So it goes on. He stooped down and couched. See, he was ready. But he needed somebody to teach him that he was powerful. And that's all we're doing. See, we don't really know, so we sit back and we watch and we wait. And if we get a little courage, then we'll pop out there. But until then, we sit back, just looking, right? So what it's trying to tell us is that as we realize our mistakes are building character, we will defeat our problems and overcome them. Got to know that this power is in you. Got to accept that you have it. So it goes on to say the scepter. The scepter is the pride that you have to use, the staff, to knock off anything that come your way. See, the reason they use that idiom is because when he was watching the sheep, as the wolves came, he needed something. So he got something 6 feet where he can push back. What are we pushing back with? See, we have to know, we have to push back with our minds, with our knowings. If you believe you can't, I am open and receptive to your deliverance from this condition. I am open to you to deliver me. I am you and you are me, and I need you to direct me in this condition. We got to know, we got to call on his name night and day. It's not a secret, but we won't use it. That's all it is. If we don't use it, there it is. See, we all know. And as we realize this building, and as we overcome, we have to know that it will not leave us nor depart from us. It is only providing us with the power to ward off problems. It is our knowledge of who we are, and by its very presence, it will guide us away from our sins and missed opportunities. And sins is only mistakes, right? That's the way they worded it. You missed the mark in archery. That's it. So it goes on and it says, to his sons, he's bounding his fowl unto the vine. In other words, you got to connect yourself to this power. If you don't connect yourself, you're not going to be empowered to do it. You're going to feel like you weak. You can't do it. So I word it like this. When we control our behavior or disappointments, we will receive our expectations. Okay? Huh? When we control our behavior or disappointments, we will receive our expectations. So when you know it, you will know it, you just stop and sit and say what comes to your mind, because it's talking to you through your nervous system, and therefore advising us how to live. And then he says, Judah's eyes shall be as radiant with wine as teeth white with milk. It's just an idiom that means abundance and an enriched life. And this is all we're striving for. And if you think about the Bible, all it's saying all the way through the end, you change your mind, you change your life, and the final result will be a heavenly world, right? It will reveal this grander life that we will see, right? So it talks about what? Milk, honey. Where's milk and honey? On earth. Yes. Where's gold? On earth. So we have to extract these things from the earth to benefit from them. Yes. Who's going to extract it? Man. It's just a pronoun, man, but all of us. We have to go to work to extract from the earth what it is that we need, that we're looking for, that is telling us to have, right? This is why we have these certain things that we see in life. Once we accept this presence in our lives, we will display the power we possess. And this meaning is when Jesus reigns or returns in our lives. The reigning or returning is when we stand up to it. See, then we waiting for the lightning bolt to fall. The lightning bolt is just telling you that it will cause a spark, right? And that's what knowledge does. Yes. Knowledge just causes a spark in mind. Yes. And then it gets us to move. Move the veil. We will be activated with the knowledge to act as him that we claim to know. If we claim it, we got to start working this thing, man. Judah in Hebrew just means praise and worship. It's representing our spiritual awakening and will correspond as we acknowledge it in us. Our praising is unlocking the door to our nervous system and stimulates our spiritual consciousness to awaken us to our God power. Stand up, Judah. The higher state of consciousness is where we want to be because it reveals the ideas we need to improve our lives and increase our understanding and the provisions that are being released. See, they're being released, they're being let go, but we're letting somebody else do it because we've been wounded. And somehow the belief we have within ourselves causes us not to accept this great power that is flowing through us. When all we have to do is humble ourselves and say, come and sup with me and I. It says, and I will give you rest, which means you won't have to do it. But somehow that wound doesn't allow us to see that this God is working through us as us. Because we're doing the work, we think we are the one. No, we are the vessel that is using us. And therefore, when we pray, we look up. Not because God is in the sky, but in the spiritual center in the top of our head. Yeah, I know. It's simple, it's truthful, and we use it every day because everything that we've done it through this power that works through us. And it can only do it as we believe it. And that's why this law was written. See, that's why it is necessary to knock. It's necessary to seek, and it's necessary to pray spirit to receive the desired qualities to have an effect in our lives. You see, our correlation with spirit will answer our prayers in ideas, thoughts, and words which are formed in our outer experiences once we unite with the spirit and mind. Whatever we praise increases. Whatever we curse decreases. Praise is the positive stimulant of life. When we devalue our life, we decrease our consciousness of life. Can't be it if you don't believe it. Can't fight back if you don't believe you can. That's why it says, greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. Because sometimes I may think it's too hard, but if I move him out the way, then I can live. So James comes along. And James was speaking to the brothers because they were scattered. They was wounded. Because of the separation, it's sort of like they were taken into slavery too. See, and so they was just all over the place. So there was different mindsets. So when it talks about Egypt, the building of the gold, people worshiping gold, material things, this is just all same thing we dealing with today. Same thing. So it says, blessed is the man that endureth that temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life which the Lord had promised to those who love him. So what it's saying is you will receive what it is you're looking for once you trust that is possible. That's all it's saying. And then it says when you don't make it, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. So when you don't make it, don't think that it ain't happening, it ain't possible. It's just that the mental concept, the idea of it hasn't matched yet. And as we awaken and become more empowered in understanding that I can do it and that is within me, it's possible, we will deliver. You got to have courage to stand up in front of people, to sing, to dance. Man, I remember when I was in college, I couldn't say 5 words. And I'm taking a speech communication class because I know that this is something that I need to overcome. But I had always allowed my stuttering to keep me from stepping out there. Because people would say, you got a pretty nice voice. Why don't you sing? Why don't you? And I'm like, nah, I tried that. I know I can't do that, so I won't do that. But I said, I do need to talk. I do need to know how to talk. But I would stay quiet. And then Dr. Getty said, well, she had me do it on video, so I was by myself, me and my partner. She said, why you don't talk a little bit more? I said, well, I used to stutter and I was always ashamed of it. And she said, you can't be ashamed of what that you have. If that's something that you can do, you just need to work on it. And that was the beginning of me taking more communication classes to get my confidence up where I can. And it's the same thing. It's getting the knowledge that you need to overcome whatever is hindering you from seeing yourself as. That's all it is. See? And we have to recognize that every good gift and perfect gift is from above. And it cometh down from this power that touches us. And it doesn't care who receives it, it just gives. See, and we do it all the time. Something could come to us in mind, and we'll put it off. We'll say, I'll do that later. And then we'll turn around and tell ourselves that we forgot. I forgot. But when it told you to do it, you didn't do it. And then we say we forgot. What does that do? I said earlier, if we tell ourselves something negative about ourselves, that's what's going to come. See, that thought is saying that that's what you believe. And so therefore, you have to have that experience that comes. And we don't even realize that we do it to ourselves. Therefore, decreasing this power that we had. Because we wasn't taught that. Right? Well, we used to watch Superman. They told you about kryptonite, but we didn't correlate it with our life. Right? There's something within us that causes us to not be powerful. And it's us speaking to ourselves. Unknowingly. Ignorantly. Right? We don't stand up. But when we turn away from these suggestions or ideas, we are encouraging our negative side of life, which is like Judas. Judas was a tax collector, right? He was collecting money all the time. So therefore, to him, money was important. So when it came time to sell Jesus out, he went for the silver, right? And that's what we do in our own way, right? We got to see the correlation of the trouble so that we can walk out of the trouble. See, when we abide in our Lord nature, we increase its ability to merge into our conscious affairs. When we abide in spirit, we increase our ability to utilize and claim our spiritual awareness. See, the door of the temple, which is called beautiful, is just signifying our spiritual understanding. Got to increase your spiritual knowledge. You say you want more. You say you want to do more. You say you want to live better. You got to call on them. You got to knock. You got to keep doing it. You got to clap your hands. You got to say it with your mouth. You got to be excited about it. You got to know that it's coming, regardless of where you stand, regardless of what's going on. You got to know. You got to believe. This is done by praise and worship until it is embedded in our mind, hearts, and soul. Got to take it all in. Got to know that he wants you to have it. Got to know that God is and I am, and that I'm grateful and thankful that these experiences are guiding me to my power. I may not see it right now. I may not. But I know as I sit with it, as I call on him like Big Mama, call on him. You ain't got to just keep calling until it shows up. The recognition of a desired thing will come to fruition. We see it every day. But yet when it comes to ourselves, we say, not me. We are the ones that we've been looking for, And we are the ones who have the ability and capabilities and power to change whatever may come. Whatever. And like grandma say, what's a never? Right? Keep the eye singular on the thing. And so Jesus said, Father, I thank thee. He didn't say, perhaps, will you? He said, Father, I thank thee. Gotta just give thanks and praise that you hear me. And I know that you hear me always. Not sometimes or when I'm feeling low and I bow my head and I lean to you and I know you see me crying. No, I know you hear me. I thank you for your presence and I accept this blessing. I accept this blessing. So know with me that God is working through us. There's no mistakes. There's no inconsistencies in the way God works. It is only in what we think and have in correlation in our own mind. Therefore, let us not let this veil be the ignorance that separate us from the truth. Move, peek behind the curtain. You remember the Wizard of Oz? Peek back there. See that it ain't nothing. And step into your truth. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you.